Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X researcher and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Disinformation Around Closure of Solar Observatory. Now, in Article 340 entitled Solar Observatory Evacuated, What Did They Discover About the Sun?, I detailed the evidence showing that the sun has been weakening and going dark for many years now, and that the observatory and post office in Sunspot, New Mexico, were most likely shut down because an astronomer found out and was likely trying to get information out through the post office. Now, in the Secure Team 10 video entitled News Blackout, Space Observatory Mysteriously Locked Down in Nobody ... he shows that what seems to be the last image viewed at the observatory, and this image is shown here, which seems to show the sun being eclipsed by an object with the angular width, with the same angular width as the sun, and is therefore most likely the moon. Now, the image, so this is the image being reported here, and as you can see, it looks like an eclipse. Now, it is not likely that they would go to all the trouble to shut down an observatory and a post office, which have also remained closed, and then show the public the image that is the reason for the closure. That would be completely illogical. This image is therefore most likely disinformation, and also most likely an SDO image, as a lunar eclipse was seen in SDO images at around the same time. The surprising thing is that in the SDO images, the moon is seen moving downwards and then upwards. In other words, the eclipse occurs twice and in opposite directions. This seems to again be a bit of disinformation, suggesting that the closure of the observatory was because the astronomers saw two objects eclipsing the sun. However, the two objects eclipsing the sun appear to be exactly the same size and to be perfectly spherical. The sun is also clearly being covered and not going dark as it does during the SDO eclipse season. The objects cannot be stellar cores because stellar cores have very chaotic outer layers and would thus have a very uneven edge. So this does not appear to be that. Thus it simply appears that a lunar eclipse was observed by the SDO satellite twice. And you see the images here. The moon is seen moving upwards. Here the moon is seen moving downwards. How would that be possible? How can you have two lunar eclipses, one after the other, and in opposite directions? Now, as I have detailed in Article 324 entitled Planet X Causes the Sun to be Darkened, the sun going dark has been covered up by an eclipse. But then what would happen when a real eclipse is supposed to occur, since SDO is supposed to be behind the Earth for a few days, twice per year? The answer seems to be that there are two SDO satellites, and when one is seeing an eclipse, the other is not, so that the true eclipse does not appear in the images. This also means that if there is a lunar eclipse, then it will be viewed by both satellites, and thus there will be two sets of images showing a lunar eclipse. It's possible that the satellites are moving in opposite directions, or the images for one of the sets is shown in the opposite direction, so that it appears that the sun is eclipsed by the moon in one direction first, and then in the opposite direction. The double lunar eclipse would go along with the image, which is supposedly the last image captured at the observatory, and is thus offering the cover story that the astronomers saw two objects eclipsing the sun, and that led to the observatory being shut down. But as I said before, they would not go to all the trouble and then clearly show the reason for their efforts, and on top of that, leak it on the SDO images as well. No, that makes no sense whatsoever. It seems therefore that both the images shown in Figure 1 and the SDO images are cover story and disinformation. The real reason why the observatory was shut down was that most likely that the astronomers found out about the true state that the sun is in. In other words, that it has gone dark. For the astronomers to realize that, though, there would have to be a malfunction of the sun simulation system or the holographic projection over the region. In conclusion, the image shown as the last image captured at the observatory appears to be disinformation, as does the double lunar eclipse on SDO. However, the SDO images confirm that they are most likely two SDO satellites. The reason for the closure of the observatory is still most likely to be that an astronomer at the observatory tried to use the post office to get information out as to the sun's true state, which is that it is either dark most of the time and very dim when on at all, or it has gone permanently dark now. And those are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.